Good morning, Renny Doyle Podcast. I'm sitting here making notes, like literally as we started up. So, Chris, how's it going?
It's going good.
Good.
It's Wednesday morning. 8:00 for us folks on the Pacific Coast, and we're getting going this morning.
Guys on the East Coast are saying, "Hey, man, half my day's already completed." You know what the hell?
I know, but let's be honest. Those of us on the West Coast, we still get more done.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been to Jersey before. Pretty hardcore. So, hey, so this is a cool. This is one of the most. It's one of the most. It's not one of the most difficult podcasts to put on, but it's like we're just talking about it right now, right? It's like 5 hours of stuff in 45 minutes to an hour, and it's something that a lot of people, we always talk about leadership, but we don't talk about followership, and it's so important for people to get those two down, but people they get it the wrong direction. Because people always want to come out and born leader, lead, don't follow. And it's kind of true. I mean, you do want to you become a leader, but at different points. But to be a good leader, you got to know how to follow. Everybody's going to follow, right? And so the other part of this cool thing is who we got here. So we got our second class for May. We had 2 of these this month, which demand's there. We do it. But I'm glad. When's the next time I have to do a double? This
October.
Has been
October. I got you a little break.
So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. So this month, I haven't had we had the 1 day. So we had a 5-day earlier in the month, connected to a 1 day because we had to shift that because I had this search and rescue training coming up. Before that, I had a military training. Then in between that, I had my AT within the Guard. Then I came back and rested for 2 days, repacked, and went to a SAR training that was military and civilian based. Then I came back to this week. Next week, in a couple of days, our daughter, Darren, she graduates. Kind of a rough topic for me right now. I'm having a really rough time. She was going out today, and my dog and I, we took my dog for a walk, and just as she's leaving school, and I'm just watching her car go down the road, and I look down, and Boomer's just watching her car go down the road. It's kind of weird. Yeah. And then next week we take off for the UK. So let's get rolling because we've got a lot to cover. So before I do that, I want to have these guys come up, and they're going to introduce themselves. So you guys just look at the camera. Ricky Bobby, what do I do with my hands? That means you too. Come on, get up here. And so I'm going to kneel down. Not that it's that hard. Actually, I'm going to get out of the way. And so you guys come on. Get in here. Come on. Yeah, everybody.
Come on up. And
you can't see yourself. They can't see you. So punch in. Act like you guys. So this is our May class, and we're going to start right. Kristen's the intern mentor this month. So introduce yourself. We'll go right down the line. Where are you from?
Coming from Anaheim.
Talk nice and loud, guys.
Who are you? Again, you got to scream.
Yeah, I'm Christian Ramos. I'm detailing for like almost 10 years.
Cool.
I'm coming from Anaheim.
And
I have a couple bands.
And this is just hint. Let me find it. When you come, pastries are, it gets you an A in class. Okay, go for it.
I'm Wayno. I'm an aircraft detailer in automotive detail.
Cool. Where are you from?
Nashville.
Okay.
I'm John Eberly, and I'm from Auburn, Nebraska.
Cool.
Dave Conroy, Incline Village, Nevada, Lake Tahoe.
Scott Bechtold, Virginia Beach, Virginia.
There you go. All right. Cool. Good to have you guys. That's cool.
Thank you.
All right. Let's jump into this, man. So today's part of this is going to lay out some knowledge and facts that a lot of people just don't practice it. Again, we're tuned when we're entrepreneurs, or if you're on a sports team or military is, leaders. But really, like this training I just went through, these are the top performers within. And what we do is we're trained. I mean, there's so much stuff that went in. Basically, something really bad goes in. Our team, we're a really small team, maybe me, is going to go into a community. And I'm going to come in with a fancy uniform on. And if I'm practicing leadership, it's going to be a real problem. Because I'm going to have a mayor, and I'm going to have a police chief, and I'm going to have a fire chief, and I'm going to have public works and all these different things. And if I come in here, all flared up, cobraed up, and try to take over, that's not helping anything. But if I come in and I'm a servant, how can I help you? These are the resources we've got. Tell me what you need. Is that a leader? Yeah, it is. It's a leader, that understands followership. And it's a person. It takes a very strong person to master both. But here is I want to point out, is you got to start mapping followership first. And I'm going to give you some hints. Here's some things when I know somebody hasn't mastered follower. I'm going off the script a little bit. This is one of the few times we have a big script. Is A, they have conflict. They have conflict with their staff. Is that if they have a high turnover and they're barking orders, if they're not laughing at their staff, if by their help wanted ads, all of that I can tell a lot if a person's just simply skipped the followership part of learning and went right to trying to be a leader. It is obvious. Here's the thing I want to get across is when you study and you start to master followership, what happens is that's going to help you with your customer base. Okay, because when you get in front of a customer, again, cobra up, take a command position, and you're going to lose a lot of battles, especially with women. Okay, and believe it or not, you get a guy that is my age and you start posturing to me, it's just the wrong message. I don't need that. I don't care what age you are. I don't need that. I don't want that. But if you take and you're humble and I can see you're following my lead, I'm telling you as a customer, I'm telling you as a community member, I'm telling you as a family member, hey man, this is kind of what I need, and you're listening. That's pretty badass. It's pretty badass. And so these are things that if you're gonna and being a leader, a lot of people think they're gonna be an industry leader, they're gonna be a leader in their company. Listen, if you're barking out orders and you've got conflict within your ranks, of your company, is like the military. I'm a leader, but it's not my company. Right. And listen, and this is a slide I want Chris to pull this picture up real quick. Is that I had a colonel tell me early on, this when I was a little boy, is that he told me that everybody salutes somebody. And if you look at this President Reagan, what is he doing? He's saluting somebody. And so, to be a great leader, to make it to that office, even the presidents, all of ours, and I just picked this guy out because I like him, and it was my first presidential vote, back in those days, Mondale versus Reagan, and so when that colonel told me that, and this is when I was a young boy going into manhood, right? Teenager still, I still had a teen, is when he told me that, I was like, oh my God, that's true. I mean, the boss knows when to not be a boss. And so I thought that was really interesting. So, hey, small talk. This week's training, we introduced these guys. They had the Wrath of Diane yesterday. They go into Wrath. Yep. They had a long day. But you guys, great job. I came in and looked at these interiors. Today, amazing day. Sanding, wet work, headlights, coating. I mean, we go into so many cool things. It's not that wasn't cool, but we go into another layer of cool things. Yeah. So, past couple weeks, man, I mean, this has been, I'm on the front side of Everest climbing it schedule wise right now. I'm just about ready to peak, about next Thursday, Friday, I peak out. Then I start slowly kind of going down to a nice schedule again. And it's going to be really enjoyable. So, hey, Chris, let's jump into this a little bit. Let's talk about meetings and stuff like that. Hey, what's on this shirt? Is this a new one or is this an old one?
Oh, it's an old one. I haven't bought any in a while. The closet's full, but Lamborghini Miura, that's one of, probably the most beautiful car in the world, in my opinion. So I'd love to have one of these someday. So we're going to.
Where did that come out?
Ooh, that's a good question. It was the 60s. It was the 60s. Wow. Very, very advanced for its time, for sure. Transverse mounted V12, I think, in the back. Yeah.
Wow. Well, cool. Well, hey, am I breaking up or are we okay, Chris?
You were breaking up a little bit there. Right now, your signal's a little low.
That's not good.
Well,
That's
We'll
unreal.
see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll just jump into it. So let's go. All right, so let's
Well,
go into
yeah, I was gonna jump in real quick. The title of this, we got a word in there, profound, and when you start thinking about that, profound, the definition is like very great or intense. So you could replace this title, realizing the very great success within your life, or realizing the intense success within your life. But there you go. That's what it means. And profound people are intense people.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going through DISC training right now. All the leadership of our group, right? You and me included. And it's cool to see the different personalities and how to interact with each other. But a lot of people, profound. What's profound? Listen, I'm never going to be a billionaire. Not on my wish list, not on my bucket list, never has been. I know a lot of billionaires, and I've seen what they've given up. It's hard enough to become a millionaire versus a billionaire. That's a lot of zeros on there. But profound success can be found. It's not about money. It's not always about money. You've got to go into freedom of lifestyle, of being happy, of doing what you love, of not being tied down to a ball and chain, the job. Even though your company, Chris came to lifestyle. Hey man, Chris comes in. Yeah, I'm gonna get this position, and we're gonna live, and hadn't quite happened yet. He's just met his foot's on the accelerator, and now I got to pump his brakes, because he just doesn't know how to put the brakes on. Although I think we need to reenact that Top Gun video that you sent me. I think I saw a lot of similarities there, buddy. I saw a lot of similarities in that. So
Yeah.
I'll show these guys later in the week, but when you get here. But that was funnier now. But you know what? You're right, Chris. Is that it's greater intense. It's and intense people don't have to be obnoxious people. The most obnoxious people are people that have taken the leadership role without having a followership role. Is because if you don't know how to be a follower, you're not going to be an outstanding boss. And it's not just about employing people. It's connections. It's people. It's all these different things. And so now when people think about profound success, they think about the obvious things. Here's what the average person thinks about, okay, within that. Chris, do you want to cover that list real quick and go through
the average person, they think about some of the things we touched on already: income, wealth, getting famous, building a big empire, having a fancy house and a Lamborghini Miura maybe, fancy jets and yachts and all that kind of stuff, and you even threw a couple notes on here. I like this one: quick success because they are just plain bitching.
Exactly it. If people just think because they're bitching, is it just going to happen overnight, man? Hey, I was that kid. I sold my first business. Said detailing, small, little stuff, man. I got this figured out. I just made $96,000. I thought I was bitching, right? Man, I'm going to get rid of this job, this ball and chain detailing thing. If it was this easy to make this much money in this, I'm 19 years old. Just think what I'm going to be like when I'm 25. Guess what I was doing when I was 25? Going, holy shit, this shit's hard. This is no joke. There was a little bit of luck, and because I was really cute and I was a youngster, I kind of succeeded with that. Now that I'm an adult, it's that, that whole cuteness factor is gone, and people just aren't throwing money out. And hold on, I got bills. What the hell is this about bills? It's really easy when you're living at home to make it. And that's a great starting point. I think everybody should, if you're going to jump into it, man, keep your bills lowest, is that it's just funny, your perception as you mature. Now, some of you deep thinkers, some of you next level are going to think about this, is courage, fear, dedication, epic levels of brain work. I love that. Because let me tell you, all the hard work, if you're going to really succeed, is your mental work is going to outpower these. It really is that typhoon levels of hard work. These are going to have to go over this for years. You're going to have to just get in there and dig. I don't care if you're in the insurance business. I don't care if you're in the detailing business. I don't care if you're building vehicles. Is that it's hard work and you're going to have to dig. Widespread knowledge of business finances. This is one that everybody misses. Okay, I have taken more business finance classes than I can count. I still study business finance. It's because everything changes every year, and at every platform you reach, there's a new challenge. And so those are some things. So now, Chris, let's talk about the 2 to 3%ers, the really rare thinkers. That's exactly where the title comes from on this, is that you've got the profound visionaries. And we had a kid in here on a one day, 16. I was telling you guys about him. He's a profound thinker. He's not a profound success story yet, but this kid is 1%. 1%. And they're out there. And I don't care what, I really think I was born with some gifts. I was born into some gifts. This is going to sound crazy. My dad leaving, one of the biggest gifts that God ever gave me. Why? Not because what you think, is because it taught me to be self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. It taught me to deal with adverse situations and getting picked on. Another one, Chris was bragging on me before he came in, being short. I've never visioned myself at 5'8". Right. When I think of myself and I take pictures, I think I'm as tall as the two tallest dudes here. And then I see a picture and I'm like, oh shit, I'm not. It's not that I want to be, it's just my self-image. I've never restricted myself from size. I was a special ed kid. I'll tell you, other than my wife, my children, my dogs, my horse, my friends, biggest gift ever gave me. Was not a gift in 5th grade when it happened. Was not a gift. Getting beat up, getting teased, all that, but it turned into something profound. Why? Is I was a follower, and I started mastering following at a very young age. But I also had to master getting into a leadership role and pulling through the crowd and getting to that pole position somehow. And so you've got to figure that out. So why is that a gift? Because I think some people that weren't born in those situations, a lot of people can coast a little more. I never could. If I coasted, it was trouble. And for a guy like me, coasting is not good. I would have been a complete failure had I been born into a perfect situation. So, Chris, let's go over those 2 to 3%ers, as I call them.
Yeah. You mentioned that 16-year-old at training, but, we had Arthur on last week on the podcast, 15 years old. He's another profound thinker. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Same thing. His success still lies ahead of him. But
yeah, no, you're exactly. We met that guy, 15 years old. He wasn't quite that age yet. We met him down at Mark Elliott's place, right?
Yeah, he was still 14 when we met him. Yeah,
and so this kid comes in, and I'm like, Mark introduces us, and this kid's just got it. I mean, this kid is just swimming in profoundness. You can just see it from a mile away. But here's let's look at this, is that leadership isn't born or mastered without challenges. Leadership is not, you can't harvest good leadership without good followership. Okay, and it sounds nuts, but you can't. Is that your outlook has got to be this. You've got to take, and to move ahead to good leadership, you've got to not only learn followership and master it and be comfortable with it, you've got to be able to come in and out of it. You've got to be a leader that has empathy that comes down to the followers. You've got to be able to take and be a leader that knows what the follower struggles are. You've got to be a leader to know when you've got a great follower or toxic follower. We're all going to have toxic customers. It's kind of a follower, right? Because you've got to be know the win of getting rid of that toxicity. Yes. You've got to get it gone. You got to get it out of your life. And so with that is we move into part 2 next week, next Wednesday, is that going into leadership. Think about that. Think about that. You've got to take, how have I been so concentrating on becoming a leader that I forgot how it is, or what it is, or what it means to be a follower. So, Chris, let's talk about leadership and some of the characteristics of leadership.
Well, leadership or actually followership, right? So,
Followership.
not a problem. So, like leadership, followership is best understood with an explanation, right? They're followers of character and commitment, acting to support the needs and goals of the team. So, moving beyond that, like effective followers are usually independent, critical thinkers. They work well with others. They're solid in their understanding of the goals of the group and, the mission of the group. And they don't hesitate to bring their concerns to leaders, right? They're going to speak up. They're going to voice their concerns, maybe even their opinions, with the goal of benefiting the team.
Absolutely. And a perfect example of that is just, last night I'm putting this together. My boss in the guard is calling me, and her and I are talking. And we were talking about that, how our unit, has got such a great group of people we've got the majority of people in our group are exactly that. But then we've got the next list, conformists in our ranks. So that brings some other challenges, because if you share your opinion and you're out there and you're thinking ahead, and you're thinking about how to push the group ahead, are you hurting or helping the leadership? You're helping them. But when you have conformists, so Chris, go over this conformist list. If you have conformists.
So conformists are, they're yes people, right? To put it in layman's terms, they're butt kissers. So, they're gonna carry out the mission, but they're always gonna say the things that they think that the leaders want to hear, right? Or that they want them to, what they think the leaders want them to say. And, they're going to depend on the leaders for the direction. They're not going to be able to think critically, make their own decisions, put up their own ideas, that kind of thing.
Perfect example of this is we kind of had a shit show a couple weeks ago when we were on our training for a couple days up there on base, right? So the big day, all the bars and stars are coming in. We're out on our horses. And so we had this all orchestrated when they came up. So we turned the horses and went right towards all these generals, colonels, majors, all this stuff, right? And we got to them, we divided and we surrounded them with our horses, not in an offensive way, but in an impressive way. So then we took and we formed back up, and we took the horses back over, and 3 of us turned around, went back to answer questions that the senior leadership may have. So the first thing that happens is our tag, which is 3 stars, okay, comes up to me and goes, "Hey, Doyle, good to see you. How you guys going? Hey, man, how's the training been? Has it been worthy?" Okay, now if I was a conformist, I would have said, "General, been awesome."
Right.
Okay, it wasn't. And my direct boss and his boss are standing right behind a 3-star, and they're looking as soon as the guy comes to me, and they're looking and both their eyes closed, because they know right then and there, where am I on the followership chain?
Yeah.
So I said, well, General, after the shit show was corrected by our team, the 26th Mob, we got it in check, and we're having a great time. But up until that point, sir, it pretty much sucked. Exact words. Yeah. And he goes, wow, okay. He says, I want to hear what went down. Okay. Not what the other 2 guys wanted to hear.
Right.
But in the long run, what happened is we went in and corrected a bunch of mistakes, and we shined. We look good. Okay, we look good. And a lot of the other units, we didn't know. There's 300 people there. A couple of the other units did the same thing we did. They improvised on their own because we had good leadership. We respect our leader, and we made it work. The other ones that don't have good followership were an absolute mess because they don't respect their leader. They've got some toxic people in it, and it goes right into this. Passive followers. Let's go over this. Passive followers are alienated followers. Now, this may be because of something that you did. And here's the good or bad news is even if you did do something, they think you did. So these are festering wounds in organizations, either created or implied. They criticize, they never really provide depth and solutions, but are quick to judge those in leadership and take shots instead of assist. Okay, those are some cruel. The support is selective, most often only to follow the other festering team members. So what do? They become pack animals. They sit at the water cooler. You ever heard of those discussions?
Yes.
I remember my short time in corporate America. Man, the drama, I stayed as far away from that as possible. Why? I had a job to do. That wasn't part of it. And then the passive followers are cheap. They're not active. They want to belong, but don't want to earn it, and they pay to play. They're paying to be a part of whatever you are. Okay? Not necessarily a bad thing, but not necessarily a good thing. Because if you're not careful, they're going to go into the alienated followers pretty quickly. Now, some aren't. Some are observers. Those are good followers. But now you can see is you got to start developing your followership as a leader so that you can spot these things and know the difference between these personalities. So key points about followership. Honor followers. If you've got followers, if you can't pay right, you shouldn't be hiring yet. If it's the wrong butt in a good seat, you just need a warm body, it's dangerous. Okay? Is a follower has a common purpose with the leader. Okay? They understand the intent, they understand the mission, they understand the direction, and they're gonna help us all get here. Okay? And when I say all, Christian, it could be it could be a part-time person. Listen, let's huddle. Okay? You and I, it's Chris, Diane. We're a small team. Then we got Team Double Black. We got Mafia. We got the board. But it belongs out to hundreds of people. Hundreds, if you look at it that way, right? So believes in what the organization is trying to accomplish. Huge. What are we trying to accomplish? What's your goal? Do they know it? They better. Wants both the leader and the organization to win, to succeed, to push ahead, to be the best. Okay. Now you're starting to see what do I have among my people? Are they that? Has the courage to assume responsibility. Doesn't ask for it. Doesn't overpower you. But says, man, that's something that I can do that I'm just going to go ahead and do and take off his or her plate. That's massive. Has the courage to serve. One of the best things that ever happened was that we did a lot of volunteer stuff when we were running the shops. And I love to see my guys just show up to help out. I'd never put the pressure on for them to do it. But I always knew who my great, great team members were because they just did it. And they bought into it and they saw value in it. Is the courage to challenge. Challenge you as a leader, challenge you as a follower, challenge other staff members, challenge themselves. Massive. The courage to participate in transformations when needed without causing mayhem or divide. Okay, transformations are always going to happen. I don't care how big, I don't care how small your company is. You have to transform. One of the things that I really watched as a youngster, and again, this is my followership. I'm still a follower. At my rank, both in the mafia, within the industry, I'm in the Hall of Fame. I remember standing up there when we got inducted, and one of the guys, everybody on the stage was 70 plus years old. So one of the guys goes, "Hey, how old are you?" And I think at the time I was 54, 53. And they go, "Hey, what are you going to do for the next 30 years?" And I was like, "Have fun, get more people in the Hall of Fame, build up others, show people how to do it when they're in their 40s, is cut it off." Those were the giant slayers of our time. I'm standing on those guys' shoulders to this day. Is that is a sign. And then this is really important, is has the courage to leave. Every career ends. Every time ends. So on search and rescue, if we're on a mission, is that if we've got, there's usually anywhere from 3 to 9 of us, just depending on what we're doing, right? Well, if Dave is our specialist in ropes, and Dave's the only one that knows ropes, and we all show up, we got to get the ropes. Mission. No, Dave might be the badass on ropes, but he's going to take and make us junior badasses because there's going to be a day that he's not there. You know, I'm in search and rescue. I'm really tracking, really good at it. But I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none on everything else. You know, I can do Someone says, okay, Doyle, hey, we need you to set up a blade. We got to get down there. Good. It's not going to be as pretty as Dave's. Dave taught me how to do it. It's going to be safe. I guarantee you. Not going to look as good, but we're going to be able to get down there safe. Am I going to do it? No, it's going to take me 3 times as long. 3 times as long, but it's going to be safe. Right? So, as a matter of fact, we're going to go through a lot more rope and webbing and everything else because, man, I'm going to make sure because I'm not Dave. I'm going to get injured. So, the courage to leave, what does that mean? Is that a good and therefore leader is going to know when the time has come. The time has come. And, you know, it's weird because at different – can you imagine being a professional athlete? Okay? I can't imagine. I remember when the day I couldn't play football anymore. The day I knew I was never going to put a uniform on again, never going to slip a helmet on. You know, mine's sitting over there. Every once in a while, nobody's looking. I still put it on. But it's. Can you imagine going from the time you're 5 until you're 35 one day, realizing it's time to leave the game. But yet they have to do it every year, you know. And we've all seen the athletes that it's past time, buddy. You should have left a while ago. It's getting a little toxic. It's getting a little hard to watch. You know, it's time to move on. Yeah. You know, and you respect that. So profound successions don't come naturally. They don't come quick. They don't come without wisdoms. And what I mean, people say wisdoms. You got to have a lot of wisdoms. You got to have a lot of areas that you're comfortable in. You got to have a lot of area that it's really important that you do that. So this is pretty cool. My computer is going to go dead. See, we're ordered up just in time. And Chris, we're going to pull that next slide up. We want to thank Double Black for doing this. And we want to take it and let us know how we can help you. Yeah, let us know how you can be a success. Make sure to make a comment, tell a share. Most importantly, is this Memorial Day. It's not a happy Memorial Day. I really don't like it when people say that because the meaning of Memorial Day are men and women we've lost. And it's not a down day. It's a day of remembrance. Go out, have that barbecue, have that time with family because you're blessed because those men and women gave up the ultimate sacrifice so that you and I can go and do that in this great country. And so go out and have an amazing, amazing Memorial Day weekend and study being a follower, mad followership. Get into it. So, Chris, any closing word?
Man, you just a little bit. I had some thoughts on when you talked about having the courage to leave. I spent way too long in an industry that I didn't belong in anymore. I didn't have the courage to leave when it was time to. And so when I eventually did get that courage, it changed my life and for the better. So that's just kind of my thought there.
Well, and that's an important thought. Sorry, I'm going to get a extension cord to plug in because I didn't know it was going to eat this much electricity up, this much power. But and a lot of people think leaving an organization is tough. I'm often asked at my age, hey, when are you going to retire? Jeez, it's not even it's not even a process. It's just not. So to be able to even think that is beyond my thinking. What I do want to do is how can I take and live the life I want and teach others how to do it also. Does that make sense? And I think, I look at Carol Shelby. I remember seeing Carol Shelby, and there's other greats too, but Carol working the booth at SEMA. 80-something years old, dude, and the guy is there was no way they could bottle his energy. There's no way they could bottle Carol Shelby's presence. There's no way. I don't care if he was 30 or 80. There's no way. When you got in the presence of the man, you knew you were with greatness. I mean, just standing back, my first time to see him and seeing him, there's no way I'm going to approach him. He's right there. I could have gone up. Why didn't I? I was scared to death. I didn't deserve it. I was a follower. See where I'm going? But you know what's amazing is when I did work up the courage one time, is that the wisdom that spewed from him was lifetime. I've mentioned it 100 times, 200, 300 times. But there's plenty of other men and women that are the same way. And when you see somebody like that, the best thing I can tell you to do is pick their brain. Pick their brain. And I'll leave you with this. When you see amazing, when you come in contact with people with profound success, because we're in an industry that we're going to come across them. Okay? We're going to be in their presence. We're going to be working for them. Is every time that you're in their presence, very, very respectfully, very quietly, ask them one question. Only one. Don't talk. Listen. Don't say a word except for thank you at the end. Suck it in, because what that person's going to do is if they saw that you respected their time, they're going to share more. Every time you're in their presence, they're going to give you golden nuggets of wisdom, and that is absolutely priceless. So on this next episode, next Wednesday morning, we're going to talk about tying in, go back a little bit on followership, and we're going to talk about bringing that into leadership and what makes good leadership. And I'm not talking leadership because it was a real conversation I had. Because we had the biggest stat we ever had was about 36 staff members, okay, and plus Diane and I. So we're right at 40. It was a big staff, okay? It was a really big staff. And I managed that staff pretty well. So the mafia starts growing, right? This is a few years ago. It's, 100 and at that time, 125 people. And I had to go to the membership and say, look, I don't know how to run this organization. It's just too damn big. We had people among our ranks that ran 600-700 member companies that were 125 was nothing. They were very comfortable in that arena. I wasn't. So I had to leave that position and relinquish that. And it did take a little bit of time for me to adjust of other people taking on leadership roles. Now I'm a follower of the leadership. All I can do is give wisdom. I let the group. The nice thing about that is every platform that we realize in life and business is we are a little older. You're going to have people that sometimes are you're taking and leading that are older than you, and sometimes you're going to have a lot of people that are younger than you. Is as you age, you've got to do so gracefully with the intent of bringing in the youth and absorbing the energy of youth, not pushing it away. So many people criticize. I work with, military, they're young. I mean, I walked into a room this last weekend and it's all these really just out of basic, just out of boot, and they turn around and, they're talking to me and they're looking at me like, they're respectful. They really were. But it makes you feel, your age comes on real quickly, when you're in a group that young. But years ago, I remember being in that group and they're going, and one of the young soldiers asked me, he says, Chief, what was the best president you ever served underneath? And I went, wow. I said, Abraham Lincoln was pretty cool. And he goes, really? And I was like, no, are you kidding me? Come on, So, but it's I'm of the mindset that I'm seeing, and Chris, I think Chris, you'll agree, is that the current, there's a middle ground of society that is a little confused. I think that the young people coming in right now in their teens and 20s are pretty amazing folks. I think they're seeing some things that the generation just before them and didn't see. And I think they're seeing a lot that my generation didn't see. And I think it's kind of going full circle back to where we're going to get a small percentage of those individuals that are like the greatest generation ever. Those people that fought World War II and everything else. I think we've got some dedicated young people that are at that level. They're not lazy, not all of them. But the ones that we're seeing that are positive, what they're seeing is that they've watched their parents, which many times were my age, work their asses off for what? And I think they're questioning that now. I kind of preach that. Don't do as I did. Don't do as I did. You know, as Steve Harvey says it best, and I've adopted that, is that, you know, it took my entire 40s to fix my entire 30s, you know, of bad habits. Yeah. Steve says it took his
true.
Yeah, because I had the great habits in my 20s, great follower. I was learning. When I went into the leadership role, what I didn't realize was I wasn't all that. And I overtaxed and overworked myself because I hadn't learned the skill base in a good follower in depth yet. And so instead of taking and coming back a little ways, is that I thrust myself into the leadership role in my companies. I was known in the industry. I could care less about that. I wasn't after that at all. But what I'd done is I created a pretty sizable operation or operations, many businesses underneath our shell company. And it took a lot more leadership than what I was capable of delivering to those companies. So I was learning from drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah.
You know, is because rapid growth, that's the cost of rapid growth. And in my case, I just wasn't ready for it. You know, did I make it? Yeah. Did I learn a lot? Yeah, no regrets. Would I go back and change anything? No, not really. I just wish I would have slowed the pace down and realized that Rome's not built in a day, and I can only throw so many bricks at it. And if you don't have enough bricklayers, the bricks start stacking up on top of you.
And then first, second, and third failure.
Exactly. That's it. First, second, and third, not defeat. It's learning. It's an opportunity.
The lessons of lessons.
The lessons of lessons. The lessons of life. So, hey, Chris, I think we're done, bud. Anything to add on after that little?
No, I'm good. Just you know, the usual. If you like this, share it. We'd love for you to share it. We'd love to see it getting out there more. And if you got comments, let us know. Email us. You know, it's Chris at detailingsuccess.com and Renny at detailingsuccess.com. You know, let us know if there's something you want to hear in the future, if there's something you liked, or there's something you didn't like. We love to hear the feedback. So, but that's what I got.
They're saying if you haven't come to the training, you should. So I didn't say it. Thank you. I'll pay you later. We'll buy you a coffee. Hey, thanks a lot, everybody. Again, you know, Memorial Day. Take a moment and God, we live in an awesome country. And what we have to a lot of people is really screwed up right now. We're a young country in the greater scheme of things. We're a really young country, and we're going to have some hiccups, but our freedoms we have has been paid by gallons and gallons of blood. Gallons of blood. And we got to remember the prices paid and those that paid it. And take a second between having that hot dog and that burger and that beer, and just take a quiet moment and thank those that have paid that price and the families of those people. So, all right, guys, Chris, we'll see you tomorrow. And with that, happy detailing all. We'll see you later.